Chosen one, the test is over. Not the loud kind, not the dramatic kind. The quiet one. The one no one else knew you were taking. The moment you almost reacted, the moment your emotions rose to defend yourself. The moment you almost returned to what once felt familiar, heaven was watching. You thought it was just another difficult day. You thought it was just another frustrating conversation. You thought it was just another temptation to fall back into old patterns. It wasn't. It was evaluation. There are seasons when your faith is tested loudly, and there are seasons when your character is tested silently. This was the silent one. You were being measured in restraint, measured in patience, measured in emotional discipline. You did not respond the way you used to. You did not argue the way you once would have. You did not chase the way you once did. You paused. And that pause changed everything. You may not realize how powerful self-control is, but heaven does, because power is not proven in reaction. It is proven in regulation. And you regulated yourself. You held your tongue. You controlled your impulse. You chose silence when pride wanted to speak. That was the test. You thought you were losing. You thought you were being overlooked. You thought your restraint meant weakness. But restraint is strength refined. Every time you resisted what would have pulled you backward, you signaled growth. Every time you chose peace instead of ego, you passed. The test was not about proving yourself to people. It was about proving stability to destiny. You have prayed for elevation, but elevation without emotional stability collapses. You have asked for increase, but increase without discipline self-destructs. You have desired favor, but favor without maturity creates chaos. So, before access expands, capacity must strengthen, and your capacity just expanded. You are not the same person who reacted impulsively. You are not the same person who needed validation. You are not the same person who feared walking away. You have changed. Quietly, internally, permanently. That is why the pressure came. Pressure exposes instability, but when pressure produces calm, it proves readiness. You remained calm. You felt the temptation to defend yourself, but you didn't. You felt the urge to respond, but you delayed. You felt the impulse to revisit what drained you, but you stayed firm. That firmness was noticed. There are moments when heaven remains silent, and there are moments when heaven responds. This is the response. Not noise, not fireworks, alignment. You may already feel it. A subtle peace, a strange confidence, a quiet sense that something shifted. That is not imagination. It is clearance. Clearance from cycles you have outgrown. Clearance from patterns that once trapped you. Clearance from emotional reactions that used to control you. You advanced levels without announcement, and advancement changes access. You will notice doors opening differently, conversations aligning more naturally, opportunities appearing without force, because discipline attracts structure. You are entering a season where stability will matter more than excitement, where consistency will matter more than intensity, where character will matter more than charisma. The old version of you would have sabotaged what is coming. The new version of you can sustain it. That is why the test had to come first. Tests are not punishment. They are qualification. You were being qualified. Qualified for responsibility. Qualified for increase. Qualified for influence. And qualification requires proof. Not public proof. Private proof. You proved you could handle discomfort without collapsing. You proved you could experience injustice without reacting destructively. You proved you could endure silence without panicking. That is leadership forming. Leadership does not begin with authority over others. It begins with authority over self. You gained authority over yourself, and self-mastery unlocks expansion. This next season will not feel chaotic. It will feel structured. It will feel measured. It will feel steady, because what is coming must be sustained. Not flashed, not forced. Sustained. Do not return to what tested you. Do not reopen what nearly pulled you back. Do not shrink to make others comfortable. Walk forward with composure. Move with discipline. Decide with clarity, because the door that opens next opens for the version of you that passed. And that version is stable. That version is mature. That version is prepared. You passed, not because it was easy, but because you evolved. And now God is responding, not emotionally, strategically. And strategic response builds lasting change. Stand firm. Protect your growth. Guard your peace, because the next level will not reward desperation. It will reward discipline. And you have proven you are ready, chosen one. Now that you understand the test is over, you must understand what passing it activated. When you pass a level spiritually, movement begins invisibly. Not everything shifts loudly. Some shifts happen in positioning, conversations are being redirected, opportunities are being aligned. Delays are being removed quietly. You may not see the rearrangement yet, but you will feel it. A subtle momentum, a growing confidence, a quiet certainty you did not have before. That is activation. Passing the test did not just prove restraint, it proved readiness. And readiness changes assignment. The reason the pressure intensified before it ended was because the test had to be complete. Incomplete discipline cannot unlock stable favor. You are being stretched to the edge of your old capacity, and you did not snap. That is why this moment matters. You are not just entering relief, you are entering responsibility. Responsibility to maintain the version of yourself that passed. Because here is the truth. What you tolerated before, you cannot tolerate now. What you reacted to before, you must rise above now. What distracted you before must no longer control you now. Passing the test elevated your standard. And elevated standards require elevated boundaries. You may notice some people trying to re-enter your space. Old conversations resurfacing. Old temptations reappearing. Old emotional triggers knocking. Not because you failed, but because your stability is being confirmed. If you remain steady again, momentum will accelerate. If you react impulsively, progress slows. This next season rewards consistency. Small, disciplined choices, repeated daily, without announcement. You are being positioned for something that requires emotional composure under pressure, because increase is coming. Not chaotic increase, structured increase. The kind that demands maturity. You asked for expansion. Expansion demands self-control. You asked for influence. Influence demands restraint. You asked for stability. Stability demands discipline. And now you carry it. This is not about becoming perfect. It is about becoming stable. Stable in silence, stable in success, stable in misunderstanding, stable under attention. The version of you that passed can handle both elevation and opposition without collapsing. That is rare, and rare is protected. You may feel quieter lately, less reactive, less eager to prove, less emotional in conflict. That is not detachment. That is grounding. Grounded people cannot be easily shaken, and unshakable people are trusted with more. You are being trusted with more access, more responsibility, more opportunity. But access without discipline creates exposure. So guard your habits, guard your time, guard your reactions, because passing the test was the beginning. Maintaining the discipline is the continuation. The doors that open next will not open for who you were. They will open for who you became. And who you became is calmer, stronger, less desperate, more aware. That awareness will protect you from premature decisions. You will not rush what requires patience. You will not chase what requires alignment. You will not argue where silence carries more authority. This is growth anchored. This is maturity established. This is readiness confirmed. You passed, but now you must sustain. Walk forward without arrogance, without announcement, without emotional regression, because what is unfolding is not temporary blessing. It is structured advancement, and structured advancement requires consistent character. Stay steady, stay disciplined, stay observant, because what was activated cannot be reversed. And what is coming next will match the strength you just demonstrated. The test is over, but the elevation has just begun.